All right, folks, good evening, welcome. I'm sitting, as you can see. This is the biggest rendezvous for gentlemen of the Fourth Estate. We call it number one, you say it is journalist hangout. I'm Citizen Jones Hussein. Today on the program, Senate to appeal court judgment deleting section 8412 of the Electoral Act. And later on the show, youth seek more elective positions in 2023, just as former Senate President promises to reserve all ministers of state positions in the cabinet for youths, if elected president. But no, I'm hanging out with Babajide Kolade-Otitoju, BKO. I greet you, Jide.
Good afternoon, the citizen.
Yes, sir. And of course, we have Adekunle Yusuf here. Kule, I greet you, too.
Now I talk to, the citizens of Nigeria.
You will go to court. All right, then the team is ready. I hope you are. Yeah, let's tell you this. We'll roll out the drums because we're starting on a celebratory note. We want to join numerous admirers and well-wishers to celebrate Madam Kolade-Otitoju. She clocks 82 today. Mama is the mother of our own Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. Happy birthday to you, Mom. 82 and still counting. Happy birthday. Okay then. Let's also celebrate two of our regular analysts on this hangout. Olabisi Deji Folutile, she was here only last week, and Olayinka Oyegbile. They were conferred with PhDs at the convocation ceremony of the Lagos State University, LASU, earlier today. Congratulations to both Bisi and Yinka. All right, Jide, Mama is 82 and still counting.
Yes.
The other day, Baba was 80-something.
Yes, he was born 1937, so I was 3 years older than
that time. Then they use they do like this.
Yes, and he's not really a tall man, so
okay.
He's just 3 years older than his wife.
Yeah, yeah. That's Mama.
Yes. She told me don't use the pictures of last year. So she's gone to the studio. She's gone to the studio to snap fresh pictures.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's it.
They don't use last year's pictures, But we thank God for sparing our life.
If your dad sees this picture, he
will roll back the years.
Oh yeah, roll the years back.
He will roll back the years.
Yinka, Adekunle. Yeah. 82, still counting.
I saw what Jide wrote, and I conferred on him, the title of Sheikh. And
I heard the word
Mala. Yes.
and the man said to
and
you,
when you saw what Jide wrote on womanhood and what we children, the way we should treat our parents, especially the mothers, I was moved because he wrote it just as it's in the Quran and the Hadith. And I said, wow. So when I saw him today, I said, okay, I've, graciously conferred on you.
Yeah.
without going to Mauritius.
Where's Mauritius?
Mauritius is the Islamic Institute.
Okay.
We have it in Akute too.
Okay.
But the most popular one is in Agege.
Yes.
It's in Mauritius. The one in
Don't lose me.
Okay.
Well, let me quickly rub in congratulations for Olabisi and Olayinka. I think they deserve it.
Yes, they do. The two of them, have practiced this profession for long, and not just that, distinguished themselves, in various, platforms, media houses they have worked with. I've known Olayinka Oyegbile for a very long time.
Yeah.
The same thing with Madam Olabisi Folutile. So then going to the academic, side of it, having a PhD, it's not easy.
Yeah.
And doing it successfully, I doff my cap for the two of them.
Jide also talk to the employers, may they increase their salary.
Well, I don't know whether
it will cut
whether Olabisi is still in paid employment or she's her own boss.
Okay.
So but we have to congratulate them for seeking knowledge. That's what the Holy Prophet Muhammad admonished, that we should go as far as China to seek knowledge. So it's a good thing that at their age, they are seeking knowledge. So younger people have no excuse whatsoever to not seek knowledge. And so I congratulate them and I wish them Godspeed, as you always say.
I still remember the sage who said, if you think education is costly, try ignorance.
Try literacy.
Or illiteracy, if you like.
You saw this, what I just said in Jidena, that it's a sheikh. Look at the way he even tried to put
Don't induct him.
No, I'm not inducting him, but he's doing it. So the Prophet said the only lost property of Muslims, what is it? Knowledge. All Muslims seek it everywhere, all the days of your life. That's what he just said.
Knowledge is everything. So I take that away. But let's go straight to business. You know, political rookies or greenhorns or new boys can tell that of all political engagements, political interest is like good wine. You sip it with relish. You know, the Red Chamber of the National Assembly, that's the Senate, is heading to the appeal court on account of the court order directing the Attorney General of the Federation to delete Section 8412 of the newly signed Electoral Act. Recall also that a federal high court sitting at Umuahia, Abia State, presided over by Justice Evelyn Anyadike, ruled on March 18 that the rancorous Section 8412 be expunged from the Electoral Act. Remember also that the opposition People's Democratic Party, in an ex parte motion, sought an order restraining the president, the AGF, and the Senate president from tampering with the document. Jide, in politics, the key phrase or word is interest, nothing more.
Yes, but equity is also important.
Equity and interest.
Yes, equity is important. If you want us to go onto the field for a contest, make that field a level playing field. Be fair to everyone. Do not allow anyone to have an advantage over others. If you are better than me, you clinch the diadem. But it's not for someone to already be in an advantage position ahead of the contest. And the rules should not be tampered with to favor an individual. If you do that, then there's no fairness, there's no justice. So, in this case, the National Assembly that authored the Electoral Act was supposed to have been joined in that suit. They didn't join them. They didn't join INEC. We just saw judgment.
Was that deliberate, or do you think?
Well, some of the people that I spoke with, I can't imagine that people will do that in this modern age. But some of the people that I spoke with said it must have been deliberate. Because you ask yourself, when did the hearing take place? And within so short a time, we got judgment. Within so short a time, the Attorney General was already thinking of deleting. Whereas he has no power to delete any portion of our law. The power resides in the National Assembly.
Okay, because they also make laws.
Yeah, they are the lawmakers themselves. Yeah. If they don't want any portion of the law, they can decide to do away with it and come up with a new one. But it's not within the powers of the Attorney General to go and expunge any portion of our law. But that was what the judge told the Attorney General to do. So why would you not join these people so that they can defend themselves? The upper courts of records are going to take that into cognizance, that did these guys get fair hearing? And if they didn't get fair hearing, we may eventually see what looked like what happened to Justice Konaban the other day when at the appeal court, the judge tongue-lashed him thoroughly and said what he did, even a lawyer in training wouldn't have done, because you know what the law says. So the contentious issue is public officers,
public people,
political office holders.
Yeah.
As far as the Constitution is concerned, the people in Section 318, the people that the judgment imagined to be public office holders are not political office holders.
There are two different.
In the contemplation of the Constitution, those guys, those political appointees, are not reckoned with as public office holders.
A matter of definition here.
Yes. So, but if we now give a judgment, imagining that those guys they are public servants, their rights have been abridged by this law, then you have to actually show how. Then who was the person that took them took the National Assembly to court?
Yeah.
Is he one of those people
joined in the suit?
No. Is he one of those people who believe that his right had been abridged? If he's not one of them, because I can't get up from here now and go and sue the National Assembly over that kind of matter, the court will see me as an interloper, a meddlesome interloper. So these are some of the issues. We are not.
So when the president raised eyebrows regarding this same section, what do you think? What was going through his mind?
He was trying to help his aides, people like the Attorney General and the rest of them. It is not something hidden that they have political ambitions. He thought that would not favor some of his aides. So he was doing that to favor his aides.
Was doing it in good faith.
Who can define
political?
It's
good
not
faith.
in my place to define good faith as far as this matter is concerned. You know?
Adekunle, in politics, let me quote Judge Bernard Shaw. He said, democracy is a device that ensures we shall be governed no better than we deserve. So who went to court? You think this was not designed to be that way? Because I hear that in politics, if anything goes wrong, just know it was designed to go wrong that way.
Yes, I know it was designed. Let me be very frank with you. The day the president signed that Electoral Act and got the promise of the National Assembly to amend the aspect he didn't like, I was smiling that that would not happen. And many of my colleagues in the newsroom said, no, they will do it. I said they will not do it.
That is the National Assembly people.
Yes, that the National Assembly
touch
will
it.
not. I said they will not do it. That the process of enacting a law is not as simple as some people thought. That instead of you to take care of whatever you wanted to take care of before you signed, the moment you signed it, that's the law of Nigeria. And if you are now hanging on the promise that will be done, the president of the Senate, the Speaker of the of the House of Reps, is not the National Assembly. The members have various political parties and they represent various interests. And before you get it done, the President of the Senate, the House of Reps Speaker, they will have to work very hard to galvanize their colleagues. Yeah. In this instance, it may be difficult. I said I don't foresee them obliging the president, And when it happened, I said, didn't I say so? Now, going back to the issues, who went to the court? I mean, who
really approached the court?
On the normal thing, why would you want to do a law that would be unfair to anybody? These are, whether you call them public office holders, political office holders, these are Nigerians. And under the Constitution, all of us have rights. You get my point? You are members of the National Assembly today. Tomorrow, you may be a minister. Tomorrow, you may be this and all that. So, why the intrigues is unnecessary as far as I'm concerned, But in this matter, it has even gone to the level of being a little bit complicated, because the time is no longer there for anybody to do anything except the court, does otherwise. That's the law of Nigeria. But those who are in government today, and I'm being very, very honest, very wealthy, very, very powerful, this is the reaction from them.
Okay.
This is the reaction from them. And as you move, it's going to get dirtier.
All right. Yusuf, let's go to the National Assembly now, the Senate specifically. Joining us via Zoom would be the spokesman of the Senate, who is also a doctor of law, Senator Ajibola Bashiru. Distinguished, good evening. All right. Okay.
It's nice hanging out with a journalist.
Okay.
I greet you. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so paint a clearer picture for us regarding this matter.
Why have you chosen to appeal?
Why are you appealing the court judgment?
Yes, first and foremost, the interpretation placed upon Section 8412 and the declarative beliefs given by the Federal High Court in Umuahia, it is felt that it does not actually represent the authoritative position of the law. First and foremost, Section 8412, for the purpose of educating Nigerians, has two aspects. One, it provided for the fact that political appointees should not be voting delegates at congresses for the purpose of nominating candidates for election. That certainly cannot be a matter for whether somebody is qualified to vote or be voted for. It is just saying that attending to a mischief that we have known of executive arm appointing people for the purpose of creating automatic delegates in favor of such people, which we think will not augur well for democracy and for democracy in the country. So first and foremost, the whole story of Section 8412 is not about whether political appointee ought to resign before they can contest for election. It also precludes them from being under the cloak of just being an appointee voting delegates for the purpose of emergence of candidate at election. So certainly, that cannot be an issue of qualification, and therefore, the judgment in that regard cannot cover that aspect of Section 8412. On the other aspect, that precludes political appointee from being voted for at a Congress or convention for nomination of candidates, is certainly not within the scope of existing provision of the Constitution. We take the point, subsection 3 of Section 1 of the 1989 Constitution state that any law inconsistent with the provision of the Constitution will be declared null and void to the extent of that inconsistency. In the case of Musa and INEC, the Supreme Court has extended it to say that even if a provision is similar, identical with what is in the provision of the Constitution, to the extent of repeating what the Constitution provides for, it will be inconsistent and therefore be declared null and void. The question that we need to ask is this: are there provisions in the Constitution that cover political appointee in terms of their qualification for participating at the primary? First and foremost, all the sections referred to as the basis of the decision of the Federal Court in Umuahia only refer to persons employed in the public service of the state or the federation. Yes. The phrase or the clause, persons employed in the public service, is defined under Section 318 of the Constitution and has been given judicial interpretation in cases like Dada and Adeyeye. And what is interpretation? They said it's only people who are employed in the public service. A political appointee is not a person so employed in the public service. Similarly, a person elected to the office of the chairman, National Assembly, is also not covered by that provision. So it is only those people who can be said to be employed in the public service that are covered by the existing constitutional provision. And that provision only also relates to participation at the general election. What Section 8412 has done is to provide for political appointee, which is not part of what has been covered by the Constitution, and also as a minimum requirement of participating at the nominating Congress or convention. And there's no date specified. So I don't know where people talk about 30 days. It only precises that you cannot participate, you cannot vote, you cannot be voted for at a convention when you are still a political appointee. It may mean that you may resign a week or a few days before the Congress or the convention. So the contention here is that could it be said that a provision that has nothing to do with the extant provision of the Constitution could be said to be null and void? But the more interesting aspect which occupy the National Assembly, particularly the Senate, is that order asking that a provision of the law should be deleted from the written law. It is established position of the law that when an act or a provision of an act declared to be unconstitutional, what the court would do is to apply what is known in law as blue pencil rule, by which to say that this provision has been declared null and void. It is not to the extent of saying Attorney General should go and delete on his own a law already by the National Assembly and assented to by the President. It is a strange order that it is felt that there's a need to test the law in that regard. With respect to the court that made that decision, with adversarial system of adjudication in Nigeria, a case may be as good or as bad as representation by the two sides. But when you look at the judgment of the court, 5 pages of that judgment contain arguments deployed by the Attorney General's office to defendant in support of the case presented by the plaintiff. So in this regard, could it have been said that there have been fair presentation of the case for and against the constitutionality-wise of 412 before the federal court? The answer on reading that judgment is that is no. The honorable judge in that case was thought to have failed of qualitative and sound argument for and against the decision to be taken in that regard. And it is felt by the Senate that it will be that we need the law and ensure an authoritative pronouncement court in regard to the issues regard.
Thank you, distinguished. This our job is time bound. It's time to go for some commercials. Just wait there. We'll get back to you after the commercial break. All right. Please stay with us. We'll be back shortly. All right then. Welcome back. We were just before the break. We were having a chat with Senator Ajibola Bashiru, spokesman of the Red Chamber of the National Assembly, that is the Senate. Distinguished, we are back with you. Are you there?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm here.
Okay. It's only natural to ask at this point, did you know about the court case at Umuahia? Did the Senate know about it?
Before the judgment.
Before the judgment.
We were not, we did not know about the judgments. We were not served, and I must tell you that there are so many things appear to be wrong about the case itself. One is marks of forum shopping. Then it also smacks of whether indeed the Attorney General, with respect to him, is not allowing his personal interests to conflict with the oath of his office. And I say it with all sense of responsibility of somebody who has served in the office of Attorney General at my state. When you read the judgment, it seems to you that it is not really a contested case. It is really a considered case. I believe that irrespective of personal opinion of an Attorney General, when a government is sued and the law is being challenged, all available arguments ought to be canvassed to avail the judge to come to a determination. I'm equally worried about the speed by which the Attorney General on the same Friday came up through his media aid to say that he's going to abide by the judgment of the court. Yes, there's nothing wrong in abiding by the judgment of the court, but I raised a POSA. I hope subsequently the Attorney General will be willing and ready not to contest on appeal any judgment given by court of first instance in Nigeria. Oh. And whether it will also not be okay for him to withdraw all the appellate cases that he has so filed against all other cases of first instance. Then, in view of the fact that the matter is a fundamental issue of constitutional importance, is it not better to avail parties, possible interested party, of opportunity of appealing that decisions in order to be able to have an authoritative pronouncement of that? My opinion is that for us in the APC, we need to tread carefully, because the army of political appointees that may contest election may find out well when this law is tested by in other cases that the reliance on the high court decisions may not ultimately avail them, because looking at the constitutional provisions and the clear distinction between political appointee and person in employment of public service, the decision may not stand the test of time, and a legal hiatus might have been created for my political party in feeding people who chose to not to comply with the provision of 8412 on the strength of the case. I'm also equally aware of a case filed by the PDP in Abuja, which is seeking to validate that decision, which is still pending. Assuming that decision now succeed, then what happened with the hastiness that Honorable Attorney General appear to be given to implementing, so to say, the decision to delete the provision of 8412 from the Gazette of the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
All right, distinguished. If you lose the appeal, would you be going to the apex court?
Of course, it is good. We don't have, if you load the body language and the attitude of the Ninth Senate, we are not in ego contest with anybody. We are open to test the law and see whether what we have done is in line with the law of the land. And if the ultimate court decide that what you have done is not in line with the Constitution, we take it in good faith. We don't have any personal interest beyond the fact that we feel that a level playing field should be created for all people in electoral contest, and people should not use the wherewithal of a political appointment to not concentrate on issue that they have been given appointment and face politics. So that those are the mischief that we intend to cure. And the other mischief is also that we don't want an overload of political appointee to interfere with democratic processes of emergence of candidates in our political parties. But if the Supreme Court thought otherwise, then we don't have any personal thing to lose, but to say that we have been able to pursue the position of the law to its logical conclusion.
There is something that I want to ask you. What if that political appointee is also a very effective, a very active party man who pays his dues regularly, who attends meetings regularly, and then in the wisdom of his party leaders, they felt it was good enough to be elected a delegate to vote in the primary election.
No, let me give you my own personal experience. When I was serving as a commissioner in Osun for the 2015 National Convention, I participated as a delegate, but not in my capacity as an honorable commissioner, by somebody elected as a national delegate by the Osogbo branch of my party, APC. So I subjected myself to being elected as a national delegate. The provision of Section 84(12) does not say that by mere being an appointee, you are precluded from being an elected delegate. But what it provides for is that by just being a political appointee does not qualify you as an automatic voting delegate at a convention or congress of your party. I think that is clear. I know presently today, the Honorable Commissioner for Special Duties in Osun, who incidentally is a junior brother, is an elected delegate that will participate by the grace of God at the convention on Saturday, because he was elected from our local government, Osogbo local government, as a national delegate from that local government. So he's there in his capacity as an elected delegate, not in the capacity as Honorable Commissioner for Regional Integration and Special Duties.
Thank you very kindly, Senator Bashiru. We wish you a happy deliberation on Saturday when your convention takes place.
And we definitely will give our party a very successful and fruitful convention on Saturday.
We wish you well. We wish you well. We wish you well. And that's, again, Senator Ajibola Bashiru, spokesman of the Senate. All right, then. Anything to add? Adekunle?
Well, it's fine. Let's see what happens.
Also well, that ends well. Okay, our next story. You know, President Muhammadu Buhari signed the Not Too Young to Run bill into law on the 31st of May, 2018. 4 years on, the young population in my country, your country, who constitute more than 60% of our size, is yet to be propelled politically, talk less of being politically involved. Now, with less than a year to go before the 2023 general election, some youths in Delta State are craving more elective positions next year, even when youths' political participation is apathetic. Again, the president of the 8th National Assembly, Bukola Saraki, has promised that if he is elected president on May 29, 2023, all ministers of state positions would go to the young population. The future promise of any nation, according to J.F. Kennedy, can be directly measured by the present prospects of its youths. I agree, Jide. Yeah. But then, let's share the story of the Delta youths with you.
After a long period of being used for thuggery and other vices during elections, Nigerian youths are now changing the narrative by offering themselves for elective positions. The 2022 NSAS protests across the country may have contributed to this renaissance among young people to participate actively in politics. In Delta State, the youth seems to be leveraging on a friendly youth atmosphere, as there is already a young presidential aspirant and several young people have shown interest in the governorship seat. The list is growing by the day as this young man from Agwa-Ashuku becomes the latest young aspirant trying to alter the norms. He seeks to represent his constituency in the State House of Assembly.
Yes, youth are ready to take leadership position. You can see it. I'm a youth. I'm trying to make sure that I come on board to lead my people. And I expect every youth from every constituency or every part of Nigeria to also show interest. Yes, youth can do it. We are ready. And as you can see, a lot of youth have declared interest to run for governorship, presidential positions, senatorial positions. So we are equal to the task. We are up for the task. The youth are ready for it.
The clamor for young people for political recognition over the years has been gaining traction, with major political parties in the country granting waivers for youth. But can the young people speak loud enough to be heard?
We have so many of them that have come to show their interest, to inform us about their intent to contest. And majority of them are youths. It's encouraging. It's a welcome development.
Yes, we have young people that can lead this nation. We have men that have capacity, youth that can lead this nation. The president of France, how old is he? Is he not a youth? The president of Ukraine, how old is he? Canadian president, they are all youths. So we believe youth can do it. All we need is for the support of our leaders. They should support any youth that have interest to run so that things will change for the people.
Are we witnessing a renaissance in youth participation in politics, or are these interests from young people just a storm in a teacup? Time will certainly give the unbiased answer. Ikenna Amechi, TVC News, Ogwashuku, Delta State.
Adekunle, let me come with you. The youth, Nigerian youth and politics, participation in politics, are they ready?
No, they are not. And the signs are there, so there is no, we want the youth to take over. But you can't
and
take over.
Your youth means a man who is how old? Between what age bracket?
30, 35, 40.
45 on the outside.
Anything outside that, they say I'm not a young man now, but I will see myself as a youth. But let's be honest, when you look at our history, just judging from student activism in the 80s, 70s, give it to the youths. Yeah. And even the 60s.
Am I able to remember a Nance president?
Look at our fight against colonialism. Majority of political heavyweights that fought were young guys.
Yes.
You get my point?
The Awos, the Zigs were young men.
Macaulay, the Awolowo, the Ahmadu Bellos, they were young at the time. This man from Edo State, who moved the motion for independence, was a young man. Then when you look at Nigerian Student Union, at a point, it wasn't just a movement for just students. They were involved in the political direction of Nigeria. Remember the Anglophone movement and many other things at that time. Are you telling me the same Nance of that time is what you have today?
No, certainly not.
You have Nance leaders, many of them, I'm sorry to say, equivalents of illiterate people in the motor park. I don't want to say touts. People who are so ignorant to the point that they were the ones who we choose or elect to defend political office holders, take money here and there. And the same evils we are abusing or criticizing our current political office holders of, they are manifesting in worse dimensions.
Yeah.
Are they the youth that I want to take over?
Showore was at one time a Nance president, or at least was active.
Unilag president.
Was active. But you couldn't say a Showore is ready for the politics of Nigeria as we sit here.
Well, Showore is just one. You get my point? There are many young people out there. But when you look at the picture generally, I've not seen something to convince me that the youths are ready. Is it not the youths of today, I'm sorry to say, who wants to be financially okay without working? You see, today, who are the ones doing baby mamas? You want to have children without getting married? Is it not majority of people who are doing all these occultic things?
You are old
I'm
school.
sorry, I'm not.
You are old school.
So
we grant that.
A lot of things that are happening now, you will wonder that do we really have a good future when the youths are like this? Because that's not what I went through.
I think I want the youth to challenge this hangout this evening. Call into the show. The telephone number will be displayed just so we know if you are ready for the days ahead. We'll take the break here and come back very shortly. Please stay with us. All right, folks, we welcome our viewers on other platforms, and very, very interesting topic we're dealing with. Are the youths ready for Nigeria's politics? Are they showing it? Delta State has given us a template. Can we work on that template? Please, I challenge the youths to call into our show now. We'll display the telephone number on the screen just so you know. Is the youth really ready? Did I ask you?
I think the issue is not really whether they are ready. The issue is what are the opportunities that are available that we are allowing even the young people to get hold of. Bukola Saraki was President Obasanjo's aide at less than 40.
Yes.
He made him his aide. He was governor at less than 40 years of age. He had not clocked 40 when he became governor. He became Senate president at 53. Today, if someone becomes governor at 53, we would think that is young. They will even refine, that boy is now governor. We have a youth budge. That youth budge, instead of it to look like a tinderbox or a time bomb, waiting to explode, we should actually exploit it. Young people are enterprising, they are innovative.
Yes.
We are not exploiting that. And we see young people leave our country, they go abroad and they excel. These young people have shown that if they have the opportunity, whether it is in commerce, whether it is in entrepreneurship, when they have the opportunity, they will do very well. So we should be talking about how the older generation, the ruling class that is greedy to hold on to power by every means, we should be talking about how they can begin to involve the young people a lot more. What is the level of the involvement of the youth? We need to ask that question.
Yeah.
When you move closer to people, the power people in our politics, you see that the level of involvement of the young people is not sufficient.
Yeah.
You corner all the big positions available, and then is that how to encourage them? That's why some of them who can't find something else to do will now go into music and all that. Yes, it's good. Music is good. In fact, they are the pride of our country now.
Yeah.
At least in our time, we are seeing a Nigerian win the Grammy in the individual category, and it may happen again this year with what we are seeing people like Weasel doing. So it is the encouragement. Other countries even train them, prepare them leadership. I was reading about the US, and I could see something called YIG, where at school they are beginning to teach them lawmaking, even lawmaking. The rudiments of lawmaking, they are teaching them. They are teaching them about the judiciary, how judgments are made, and they are preparing them, because they are not like us who will simply wait until the politicians are old, you know, and some of them will be walking as if they are sleepwalking before we now think that it's time to
shove them out.
Let's not use that word. At least to freshen up the leadership space. So this is the thing. We need to encourage them.
Why do you think the president signed the Not Too Young to Rule bill in 2018?
I think he wanted to make a point that, because if you remember at that time, the momentum was let the youth, you know, and because of our law, so let's make it open to everybody. It would have been the best thing at that time for the same president to, you know, to go for that, but he didn't do it. Now it's an opportunity. Have you seen that? The youth have the benefits of technology
and speed.
The youth can use technology to galvanize themselves all over Nigeria against the oldies.
You know,
but today, who are the ones serving as political thugs, political this, political that? Now, too, what about the money aspect of politics? The youths can't compete with those who have spent all their lifetime, I don't want to say stealing the public fund. So you can fight.
Yeah. So what do you think is happening? The older generation not giving way, or the youths not playing up, not showing enough interest?
Both. The older generation are not ready to give way. And as Bola Ahmed Tinubu will always say, power is not served
a la carte.
So you have to fight for it. I haven't seen that spirit of fight within, among the youth, that it's time to take over.
Let's
at
look
least
at APC.
when you look at technology space today, and you see the number of youths that are doing tremendously well.
Yeah.
When you look at arts, music, arts and entertainment industry,
Yusuf,
and you see young men, Nigerian, doing extremely well.
Give them a chance within the political space. If they will also do well.
That's the point I wanted to make.
So you look at the APC now, they have convention, they are allocating positions to one another by way of consensus. You call it consensus. How many of such positions have we given to
they call it?
So if you are saying it's not served a la carte, this thing, have people split heads to get political positions by way of consensus?
All right,
as we are saying now? Have they broken their heads?
Let me not keep Ayodeji waiting in Abeokuta. I hope he's a young man. How do you do, Ayodeji? Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Do you belong to the youth bracket we are talking about?
Or Jide bracket?
Or
Yes,
Jide's
I'm
age bracket?
Yes.
Yes, I'm at 40.
What is yes now?
Yes, concerning what we are discussing.
Okay then.
First of all, I can say even when the president signed the bill, the young of this thing that we are talking about, I see it as a waste of time. They are not even ready to live there. Look at this, they are not ready. Even now, they say they are encouraging the youth. How much is the fund? Look at the presidential election they are doing now. Do you know the millions of naira they are now requesting from the youth to just purchase ordinary form? Where are they going to see the money to do all these things? So we are not. There is no enabling environment for the youth to even partake in politics.
There's no encouragement.
So I see that bill as even waste of time when they even sign it. There is no enabling environment for us. We are willing. But I am willing. So there are so many youth outside there.
Deji, are you involved personally? Are you personally involved in politics? To what degree?
I am interested, but you can see there is no enabling environment.
All right. Thank you, Ayode.
You know what I want
thanks.
to see? Even if that's the last thing I'll say, what I want to see more and more is for politicians to make this kind of promises. When they make this kind of promise, at least some of them will fulfill those promises.
You mean the Bukola
yes, to say, okay,
promise.
this is what you want to do. I saw what even governor of Kaduna and the man in Kwara, they put people in their early 20s in their cabinet. That's encouragement.
Yeah.
Somebody who was just a youth corps member. There was somebody who argued with Governor El-Rufai. One girl argued with him at an event. El-Rufai now brought her and put her in his cabinet.
Brought her in, opened the door.
Yes, because he saw potential. You and I could argue and I will see that, yes, you got something here. He saw potential and brought her into his government. How many people are good among these politicians are prepared to make this kind of promise that Bukola has made? If more and more of them will yield these positions, because it's not every position that you exchange blows for. I've already talked about what is going on at the convention.
Yes, I think
if more and more of them will suggest what Bukola has done, if they will continue, yes, we'll bring them in.
Believe me,
and we'll be in a much better place as a country.
Do you know it can be a game changer? All the ministers of state position given to the youths. What better way to learn the ropes? You get my point?
Okay.
To be a game changer.
Okay. We must go.
The rest. I mean, when they even came into government the first time, Aida and the rest of them, they were not up to 40.
Oh yeah.
What are we talking about today? Somebody he will be very old, he will still want to be in the Senate.
Jide, if you like say you the vex.
No, let's tell ourselves the truth.
No, don't.
We can't keep abusing these issues, calling them names, when we can see clearly that the opportunities available to them are limited.
All right, we must go now. But let's tell you the a bracket of mental health activities between ages 18 and 40. I hear that at 18 you ask all the questions, at 40 you know all the answers. So the ball is in the court of the young generation. I'm done, our job is done, but let me thank Babajide Kolade-Otitoju for... Sheikh, yeah.
And again, advocate of the youth.
Help me greet Mama. Mama is 82. We are counting with her.
Oh, Mama.
And Adekunle Yusuf, many thanks.
We are glad in the law now.
Raised elbows. Oh, kapel.
And pop tapping.
Okay, that will just about do it on the show today. If you missed this particular edition, join us on Sunday for a fresh package, a 2-hour package from 1:30. This is just to tell you we are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now.